So good afternoon, Miss. I'm Amiera, so I'll be start first.
Okay,
Okay.
whenever you're ready, you may begin.
Okay. So I just start the pitching without introduce myself first.
Yes, you can give a quick introduction. Okay, tell me your full name. Okay, what is the current issue that your group is addressing and your individual perspective. Okay, then you can start right away with your individual pitch. You will take turns to present. Okay.
Okay. So good afternoon, Miss and everyone. So my name is Nur Emylia Batrisyia binti Shariful Izam with my metric number 8204652. So the current issue that will be discussed today is reassessing the impact and future of US-China tariffs. And what I will be presenting is about diplomacy perspective. So did you know a political issue that started in 2018 is now shaking the global? Imagine that you purchased groceries yesterday and now it was double priced, and it is not due to an inflation but because of tariffs. These hidden tariffs has been a part of deeper conflict between US and China. It called US-China trade war. And it is not just about money, but it is about global stability and future of international cooperation. So since 2018, the US and China have imposed the heavy tariffs on each other, and the US aimed to protect its industries, and China responded by targeting American companies. So these actions have disrupted supply chains, raised prices, and create uncertainty. But the worst is they damage trust on each other, and they keep retaliating each other until now. So as you can see in the situation, this issue is hard to resolve. It's not just about the money, but it touches on pride, power, and long-standing mistrust. This conflict introduces new tensions that the other countries are pressured and stuck in the middle, like they were to choose US and China. So, and also the alliances are strained. Global institutions like World Trade Organization are sidelined and being ignored. And without diplomatic trust, this issue has progressed to other issues like climate change, public health, and also cybersecurity. So to restore diplomacy, I propose a key step, which is launch a US-China joint trade monitoring body. So if I were given an analogy about this, it's like a referee in a football match. As we know, referee, their responsibility is to keep and maintain the fairness of the game and neutrality. So this body builds trust and encourage transparency and also restore dialogues. And not just that, it will prevent harmful blanket tariffs. So call to action, this issue is not just about a job for world leaders. But as the next generation, we must support smart diplomacy, global cooperation, and peaceful engagement because the future is in our hand. So that's all from me. I pass to next to my friend.
All right, thank you, Amiera. So, hi, my name is Shafnie Hani binti Fadzlin, and I'll be talking about the US-China tariff issue from the business perspective. So, on May 19, 2025, JP Morgan researchers addressed the escalating US China tariff issue. President Trump announced new tariffs targeting specific countries and commodities to protect American interests. Despite earlier delays and reversals, the latest measures sparked international backlash, shook markets, and raised fears of a global recession, significantly affecting the business sector. It all began around 2018, where the US China trade conflict began with both countries imposing tariffs on each other. Under President Trump, the US targeted Chinese goods like electronics and steel, while China responded with tariffs on American products such as soybeans and cars. The dispute centers on trade imbalances and US claims of unfair trade practices due to China regulatory barriers. I am here today representing thousands of small importers across the country as the escalating US-China tariff conflict has placed immense pressure on global business operation. What began as a political dispute has become a major disruption for companies engaged in international trade. Supply chains are destabilized, production costs are rising, and businesses face unpredictable market conditions. If left unaddressed, this issue will lead to shrinking profit margins, reduced global competitiveness, and a ripple effect impacting consumers, workers, and investors. Inaction risks deeper economic decoupling, decreased innovation, and a global market plagued by uncertainty and inefficiency. Imagine running a small business and facing the same high tariffs as large importers. It's unfair and unsustainable. That's why we're advocating for a tariff relief pass to support low volume importers and give small businesses a fair chance. At the same time, businesses must diversify supply chains and invest in local or regional production. Multinational corporations, governments, and trade organizations should create incentives to shift manufacturing to low risk, tariff free regions like Vietnam and India. This approach reduces vulnerability to geopolitical shocks and promotes long term supply chain resilience. Before I close, I urge everyone to recognize that for small businesses to grow amid rising US China tariff conflict, a tariff relief pass for low volume importers is essential. This initiative will ease the burden on businesses that lack the scale to absorb high tariff costs. Policymakers must act now to level the playing field. Once approved, eligible businesses can apply for the pass to lower import costs and stay competitive in today's global market. So that's all from me. I pass to my friend.
Okay, thank you, Hani. So next is that I'll be talking about the next issue. So imagine a campus where American and Chinese students don't just sit in the same classroom, but they build the next big tech breakthrough together. In this age of rising tensions, what if the future of US-China relations did not hinge on diplomacy, but on joint innovation right inside our universities? Now, we will look into the impact and future of US-China tariffs from the youth perspective. So the ongoing trade war tensions between the United States and China has hindered the economic growth of both nations. According to Peterson Institute for International Economics, the US tariffs and China's retaliatory tariffs affected over 550 billion worth of trade. But the impact goes beyond trade. It's also hurting the education and tech corporations. Students exchange, joint research, and startup collaborations have declined. Innovation between young minds is being caught in the crossfire. As a student and future innovator myself, I believe that education should not be limited by politics or borders. Our generation needs global cooperations in science, technology, and business. Yet, current US-China tensions are closing the doors that were once open. This is not just a diplomatic issue, but it's a personal setback for the youth who wants to work together. That is why we need to rethink how we approach global partnerships, starting from the new spaces in our universities, where American and Chinese students can co-develop ideas and learn from each other. If we don't act, we will lose valuable chances to solve global problems. Innovation will be slowed, jobs will be lost, and people will be more divided. The solution lies in the creation of US-China innovation zones within universities. These zones intend to be collaborative spaces where students from both countries can work on real-world projects. Universities can provide the academic framework, while government and private tech companies can provide the fundings, the mentorships, as well as the resources. These zones would use existing university campuses and bring students from different fields like engineering, medicines, and computer science to work side by side. Unlike the traditional exchange programs, these ones are hands-on, meaningful, and also realistic. Students won't just study, they build the future together. These zones can expand across multiple campuses and eventually across the globe. With support, they'll be sustainable and also scalable. Now is the time to act. I urge students, educators, policymakers, as well as tech leaders to support the creation of US-China innovation zones. Let's not wait until the gap between us grows too wide. Together, we can create spaces where young minds from both countries turn problems into progress and build a better and a more connected world. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Hello, everyone. My name is Noorazyyati, and I'll be presenting the pitch under policy perspective. So now, imagine you are American, and then you go out to buy some groceries and medicine, and all of them are turns out to be higher in price. Again, then you go to the local shops and small businesses. All of them are partly shut down. And then now you ask yourself, why is this happening? So one of the hidden reasons is might surprise you. It's tariff. Yes, a very taxes that are meant to protect our economy, but turns out to making the life of the everyday people harder, including you and me. So back in 2018, United States start a trade war with China. So the goal is actually to punish the bad practices like stealing the technologies and also manipulating the trade rules. All right, so fair enough. But instead of targeting the bad stuff, we actually hit everything, including the $350 billion worth of the goods. For example, like medicine, food, like toiletries, sanitaries, kitchen supplies, and other essentials. So this actually, we are trying to making it worse instead of making it better. Now the prices are up, all the small business are in shortage of the supplies. The farmers are starts to lose the customers, and also the families are starts to squeeze in all and many directions lah. So all of this is actually because of the system we are using is too blunt for a very specific problems. So that's why we are proposing a better way, which is a smart tariff programs. So here are the ideas. First is actually to keep a strong tariff where they are needed. For example, keep the tariff on high-risk industries like cyber securities or the technologies where the national securities are at the stake. And the second one, banish or reduce the tariff on the essentials for for example, the food, medicine, and also key manufacturing parts. So by this way, we actually protect what is really matter without punishing the life of the people that are just trying to live their lives. It's strategic and it's doable. So lastly, we don't need more blanket tariffs that raise prices and break the supply chain. We need a smarter ones, the ones that protect the jobs and lower the cost. So let's pick up, support the tariff smart program because the future of trade shouldn't be a war. It should be a strategy. Yeah, that's all from us. Thank you.
That marks the end of the assessment today. Thank you, Group 3, for the presentation. Yeah, so please wait for the recording to be generated on Teams. Then you upload to YouTube, okay? Only one representative is required to submit the YouTube link to UKM Folio afterwards, right? So that is all. Thank you, Group 3. Have a good day. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Miss.
All right, thank you, Miss.
Miss.
Bye.